Hey, theory class, it's Mr. Axer here again, and we're continuing to talk about modulations. So, what we have going my my Siri went off. Turn that off. So, we're talking about modulations, and the example I have up here right now is another one. Now, we're going to talk about some of the specifics of this one. So, but first, let me play it for you. And it eventually would go on and so forth and so on. So what we have in this example is another modulation. And you can tell because it has two different levels again. We saw that in the previous example, but let's break it down and see what we've got going on here. Okay, so we start off in the key of C. And we can see that we're in the key of C because we start on a C chord, a 1 chord. We do have right here an altered chord, but it's a secondary dominant, 5, 6, 5 of a 6. So you may be thinking, well, maybe we're going to be going to the 6th key. There's no other G sharps. I'm looking ahead, no other G sharps. I see a lot of F sharps and I see a C sharp, but no G sharps. That would be your indicator. Are we going into the relative minor? What I mean by that is if you're in the key of C major and your relative minor is A minor, then your 7th scale degree would be a G sharp in that case. And so we don't see those. Just as a reminder, the 3 most common modulation points would be, or keys that you'd modulate to, would be your 4 chord, your 5 chord, and your 6 chord. So in the key of C, if you were going to the 4 chord, you would start seeing B flats. Why is that? Because in the key of F, you have B flats. So we're starting in the key of C, and then if you were to modulate to the key of F, you would have to add in B flats for that key of F. If you're going to the 5 key would be the key of G in relation to the key of C, which would mean you would have a lot of F sharps because the 7th scale degree in the key of G is F sharp, and there are no F sharps in C, obviously. And again, if we're going to the 6th key or the relative minor, we would have G sharps. So as we're looking at this, and we can see F sharps. There's one right there. There's one there. There's one there. There's one there. We end on a G chord, another big factor in all this. So we are, in fact, going to the key of G. And obviously, I put out all of the analysis so you can see it. But let's kind of go through this and talk about a couple things. So we start off with a typical progression. We have some suspension. I got a 9/8 right here, and a 9/8 right here. As a matter of fact, we've got a passing 7th, and what we've got going on is this. We have in this case a pivot chord or common chord modulation. Those modulations are very smooth because what a pivot chord or a common chord is a chord that is shared between both keys, allowing for a very smooth transition. So we take a look. Here's my cursor here. In the key of C, a minor chord in first inversion would be a 6 chord. But in the key of G, it's a 2 chord. So that 1 chord is shared by both keys. So when we get there, it doesn't feel so abrupt. It doesn't feel like you're doing the whole, the hair is getting so long. It's so funny. Hopefully my wife will cut it tonight. We'll see. But anyway, what you see is it's because it's common, because the chord is common between both keys, it's a very smooth transition. So let me just play it again. Second dominant. There we are. And we stay there. Okay. So this chord right here, and let me see if I can try to find something that I can select it with. I can't, but it's that one. There you go. You can kind of see it. Nope, not that one. That one. There it is. That chord is the common chord or the pivot chord, which takes you from one key to the next. The modulation device is this chord right there. Your secondary dominant is what is used to modulate. So to make sure it's very clear, pivot chord is the chord that is shared between the two keys and allows for a smooth transition into the new key. But the modulation device is your secondary chord that gets you to the new key. All right. So we start in the key of C, and then we modulate into the key of G. In this case, we're going to the 5 key. All right. The other thing I should tell you with all of this stuff as you're learning about modulations is sometimes you don't even have a modulation device. It just goes, it just gets there. And those are not very smooth. The ones that I'm going to be showing you will be very smooth, and you'll clearly see where that takes place. Okay, so I hope that helps. We'll continue to do these lectures about modulation, and I'll start giving you guys some assignments, some application assignments, some analysis assignments, that kind of stuff. So good luck, take care, and wash those filthy hands.